give everything we have. We give all that we have to the effort, to the preparation, to the dedication, but you gotta leave something for the family, man. So that's what I try to do. So I know people, you know, they want to see me come back and they say you retire too soon. And what that is they're saying that we've never seen nothing like this happen before. It's different. So when you're doing something different, it's hard for people to accept. But I got to go through that for somebody coming behind me and say, I saw him go through it and I want to retire too. So I'm going to do it like he did. So it's a lot of emotions coming back here to the Hall of Fame. I don't know if I'm more excited to be getting inducted or with the champions I'm getting inducted with. Like, it don't make sense that my big three, I'm getting in with them. Roy Jones, Bernard Hopkins, Floyd Mayweather. Like, how did Bernard get in just 1 year before me? How is me and Floyd getting in the same year, 2021? How am I getting a year ahead of Roy? That don't make no sense. That don't make no sense.
When you look at the totality of your career and your undefeated record, is there anyone out there that you wish you would have kind of matched up with in the ring?
You know, after we beat Kovalev, you know, the game plan was a cruiserweight fight and a heavyweight fight. So I know it sounds crazy to people when you 175. It's crazy until you do it, right? So, but we had always talked about that. And like, I struggle with smaller men, shorter, stockier men than I do taller. Like, I don't have a problem with guys that are bigger than me. I actually enjoy it, you know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up fighting my brother. You know, he's a year ahead of me. He's very tall and rangy, so I learned how to deal with a tall man most of my career. So I think not making that run, you know, like, it ain't one fighter that I'm like, okay, I want to fight him, but it's the run, you know, like doing that cruiserweight thing and then topping out at heavyweight. I mean, that would put me in a different stratosphere, but that wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, and if I could get one more, this is the second year that women are going to be inducted.
Man, I'm so happy, man.
When you look at that inclusivity in boxing, what do you think about it?
I love it. I'm pro female athlete, pro female boxer, and I'm one of the ones that's standing on the soapbox saying why are they not getting the recognition? Why are they not getting better pay? You know, and I don't want to hear about the ratings. You know, I get it. I understand the business aspect of it. I've been on both sides of it, so I get it. But we can do a better job to make casual fans and hardcore fans to give them a reason to watch. And these ladies are taking the same amount of risk. These ladies, you know, and they know they got more to prove. You talk to any female boxer and you ask her, you feel like you got twice as much to prove than the fellas? They're going to say yes without even a moment's notice. So the effort is there. The risk is there. And they know that if they don't have a good showing or something happens, then the shot they had, they might not get one for a long time. So I think women being involved in the Hall is long overdue, man. I'm super excited to be inducted with the ladies I'm being inducted with. Let's go, man. I love it. I love it.
Congratulations.
Yes, sir, bro. I appreciate you, bro. Anytime, man.
When you're ready to go, slip into his seat over there, and I'll drive you out.
Yeah, appreciate you, buddy.
Ward, was this the only moment you was waiting for?
This is it.
This is it, right? The cherry on top.
This is it. All the work is about this. That's it. This is the end, man. You know what I mean? So, we made it, baby. We here. We here. All the talking, you know, good fighter, bad fighter. He beat this guy, didn't beat this. The debate is over, man.
Don't matter no more.
Dre, I know you mentioned it a second ago, but it sounded like you thought it was destiny that you're getting in with Bernard and Tony and Roy.
I know that sound like Sean. I know that voice.
What's up, Andre?
What's up, bro?
Congrats, man. But it sounded like you thought it was almost, you know, like destiny or something, getting in with Bernard and Floyd, the guys, your muses, the guys you looked up to.
I mean, it's just, to me, it's crazy. I can't understand it. You know, like, I understand they went later. I retired. I get that part of it. I'm saying, like, let's go.
You like that?
That's my day. Hold on one second. I'm sorry. Can I get a little rain?
Do one more.
It just, that part, like, I don't understand how I got in a year after Bernard, me and Floyd getting in at the same time, and then a year before Roy. I don't register. Like, I'm an amateur watching these guys. You know, I wrote Roy a letter when Brad Jacobs was, you know, running his company, Square Ring. I'm an amateur. Like, how I get in a year before him? You know, I grew up watching and respecting Floyd and what he brought to the game, you know, in terms of his boxing, and same thing with Bernard. So I grew up watching Layla Ali, like, it's Ann Wolf. Like, it's just hard to register, bro.
Yeah, it almost didn't look right. All these OG legends, and then Dre, who fought.
But I feel like
so
I feel like this is a new look, though. Younger and younger and younger. You know what I mean? Like, people, they look at a career and they see 13. Y'all, you only did it 13 years. Nah, you got to add in that decade as an amateur too. So that's 23 years. And then you got to look at the year I started at 9 years old. So when you do the math, you start at 9, you retire at 33. It don't seem like it's too short then, huh? So I hope, man, that, you know, I know everybody's story is different. Like Bernard started late, so he's got to get his on the back end. Everybody's story is different. I'm not saying that my story is for everybody, but I hope that this can be the new look where we're getting in with the guys we grew up watching. And I want people saying you retired too early. I'd rather you say that than to say I retired too late. And people looking at me like, man, he ain't doing too good. See what I mean? So, yeah. So this is, man, I don't know if I'm more excited to get the induction or to be looking to the...
Who was better in the Rocky movies, you or Tarver?
I ain't gonna answer that. I can't answer that.
No excuses.
I can't answer that.
So it's more about quality over quantity. Get the fights that matter in.
I mean,
get out with your health and your money.
Do what you got to do for you, you know?
Yeah.
But I just feel like the days are like, and again, everybody's story is different. You know, if I looked up and I didn't have what I was supposed to have, I would have to go on. So, but I am saying do what you got to do. So when you're tired and you're ready to walk, you can walk. And you're gonna have people chirping and he should have did this, he should have did, because y'all not getting in there. But when you make it here and you walk on these grounds, the debate is over. You can still debate. It's really no debate. It's over with.
And a lot of those legends that have been enshrined here, some of them may have wanted to stop fighting, but had to keep going, right?
But that's the thing, though. For most of us, this is what we know. There's no fallback plan. There's no contingency plan. So if the money's not right or whatever, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. But that's why, for me, man, I try to do my part to speak out about things like the sanction fees. And I know I get brushed to the side, so we're gonna keep talking about it because that stuff doesn't make sense to me. And it's funny, I had somebody say, well, you posted these belts, but you were talking out about the sanction fees. I paid for them.
They don't know what you're doing.
If we're giving these sanctioning bodies houses, cars, and tuition, and we can't tell you, right? They tell us, you guys need to watch your money and be responsible. Well, part of being responsible is knowing where my money's going. They can't answer for us where the money's going. And I know Mauricio Suleiman sent me a message sending me all these documents about these funds and different things like that. I don't, number one, that's not tangible for me. I don't see where that's helping people, number one. Number two, if my money's gonna go to help somebody else, I should have a say on if I'm paying into that or not. But how is that helping me? Where's my pension plan? Where's my medical? Where's my health? So this is what I tell the sanctioning bodies, and I've been wanting to do this, but right now it's the perfect place. Man, and this isn't like a challenge. I'm not like trying to argue with them, but I really want to gain some understanding. If they can educate me and say, hey, you didn't know about this, this is what, hey, I would love that. That'd put me at ease. And it's nothing personal with these guys. I've had good relationships with these sanctioning bodies to a point. But let's have an open forum when we talk about it.
They don't want to, but they rather.
Let's have an open forum when we talk about it. It could be individually. I could take them one at a time. BC, BA, IBF, BO. When is the money? Where's the money go? Who came up with 3%? Why is it not optional to pay for this? Why is boxing one of the only sports, if not the only sport, where you got to pay to compete for a championship? Why don't we have any say in this? Who's watching you guys with the rankings to make sure that the people you put in certain positions are people that should be in certain positions to fight for certain belts? Let's talk about it.
Well, it seems like sometimes they do what the promoters want them to do. You know, that they'll call one fight, they'll say this is a mandatory now, and then it's like they get a phone call and never mind, it's not the mandatory.
So we know what we know, but I don't want to. I want to give them an opportunity to speak for themselves, and let's give some clarity to the fans. Let's give some clarity to the media. Let's give some clarity to the fighters that are paying into this. Because how do they survive if we don't pay into that? That's how my brain works. Maybe I'm a little bit too radical with it, but my thing is, if we don't pay, how do y'all eat? So we can't say that, oh, we want our fighters to be better off when they retire when there's 7 hands in the pot. So when I get my check, sanction fee, this, that. And then you're bound contractually, right? Like, if it was up to me and I didn't have a contract with Kovalev to give him a shot at the belts the second time, I'd have dropped all those belts. I don't need them.
Yeah,
So they get you in the beginning, right? You want to be a champion. I want to be a champion. You just want to touch that belt. You want to, but then you get it and it's like, man, this belt ain't even real. Like it means something. You know what I
You
mean?
think all this undisputed that's been like people
I mean,
talking about
I
a lot
love
right
it
now.
to a point. Like, man, the dudes that are taking the risk to do it, I understand it. I'm like, man, do that. That's legacy stuff. But then my business hat comes on right away, and I'm like, man, you're paying for a sanction about it.
Over 10%
might step in line and agree.
So that's why I've always kind of been, I don't even know how to describe myself and like what I've been to the sport, but like I get into good trouble, man, in boxing because I don't have a problem, like, and I can do it with a smile on my face, challenging the status quo, challenging stereotypes, and challenging things that have been in boxing and nobody can really tell me why they're in boxing. Why does the manager get 33 and the third in boxing? Off the gross.
Should be negotiable.
Why is 25% the norm? Why is 20% the norm? Why is 10% the norm? Why are we paying 3% of sanction fees? Who came up with that? Why does a promoter get 25% at times, depending on the situation? Why does a fighter, if they lose a fight, all the minimums that they worked hard to negotiate, we can renegotiate those, or we can let you go. But if you do something, I can't walk away from my contract. So I know we're not supposed to talk about this stuff. I know we're supposed to just keep our head down and keep going along and get along. But I'm just not wired like that. Like, I can go along to a point, but then at a certain point, I'm gonna start asking some tough questions. So what does that have to do with the Hall of Fame? All of this stuff is intertwined. Because every fighter that's getting inducted, they had to face this, they had to deal with this. And when you call it quits, you're looking at them bank accounts like, man, do I have what I'm supposed to have? And then you start to do the math. We giving sanctioning bodies cars, tuition, and houses. That's a problem. We need some clarity, and we need some oversight over these sanctioning bodies so they can't just do what they want to do and rank somebody arbitrarily or strip somebody arbitrarily. I got real stories that happened to me. Real stories. So even though we don't want to talk about it, we need to talk about it. And I'm going to continue to talk about it, no matter the cost.
Sounds like you want something for the fighters in return.
You got to have it. Yeah. If we don't fight, there is no what the media going to cover. If we don't fight, how's the promoter make money? If we don't fight, that's how I think. Why don't we have a union? The promoters, I don't know what happened to it, but the promoters formed a union about 10, 12, 13 years, something like that. They went to New York. And I'm like, man, I see all these promoters that everybody says don't like each other, and I see all these signatures on here. They met and they came together, and I don't know what came of it. But why can't we have a union?
War for president.
There's a lot of self-interest and divided. You know, this guy with this promoter.
The problem is
it's a lot of fraction.
All you need is one boxer who doesn't agree. Who says, "I'm going to do whatever I want."
Start with one guy.
Boxers are trained to think that way.
That's cool.
And that's the problem. Is you're not going to get a bunch of boxers who have different interests to join in a single interest when some of them really needed to eat, versus some who are a little more advantaged to have gotten a few prizes. And that's where your roadblock will be, is trying to get these guys who are just regular humps who are just trying to fight their way up, who aren't getting the purses. So they're getting a couple $100 for a match.
Right.
But you're asking them to join and agree to join with guys who are doing much better, who are getting larger purses, and walk away with more money, who are a little more comfortable. They have less challenges than these guys who are just being thrown to the wolves all the time. And that's the challenge, getting all of those guys across that spectrum. You know, the promoters, obviously, because they're in it for the same thing, strictly to line their pockets. And the boxers are there to do good for themselves. And the promoters need the boxers, but the promoters can all agree, oh, we'll all take this amount. Because it's like, you know, the good old boy network.
I'll say this. Let me say this. I think promoters and managers. I'm not trying to absolve promoters and managers. I think we need them.
Of course.
And I think, you know, it has to be even playing field.
Yeah. But that's what it is. Even playing field. It's not even playing field, because you're always going like this.
But I'll say this about the challenge that you just brought up. It's a fair point. Okay. But I try to focus less on the problem, and I'm busy looking for a solution.
It's easy. I do legal research, and one person said to me, she used to work for her dad. and he was a lawyer. He said, "Don't come to me with problems if you don't have a solution."
Okay.
Because anyone can point out a problem. But
So-
if you can
so-
come
so
to me
that's what
with
I'm
some,
saying.
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing. with you.
Anytime this topic is brought up,
if you can come with a
people
solution,
give me a list of reasons why I can't have it.
right,
And that's just not how I'm wired.
right, exactly. Challenge everything except nothing.
Well,
Because
what's different about boxing from any other sport?
because you have the small group of people who are making the decisions, and no one has ever really joined to challenge it. Like Kurt Flood in baseball. Everyone knows Kurt Flood. He was like the man in the desert, you know, spitting into the wind, but he made big changes because he challenged the free agency clause. So
I'm
that
sure he
changed
heard. I'm
everything.
sure he heard a lot of rhetoric. The same things you just told me
and
too.
he hurt himself. He hurt himself in the long run, but he made big changes. So he's a real pioneer. And it's the same with any sport where you need sort of this joint group of people who agree, like football players and basketball players. Those guys have formed unions because they're all in the same league. Boxers aren't all in the same league. You've got all the different alphabets, so they're all fighting for different interests. And you've got boxers all over the world. So in Asia, you've got great lightweights, great featherweights. Over here, you've got heavyweights, middleweights, welterweights.
It's a lot of problems. But
And the social philosophies.
with all due
say
respect, we can't stop at that, sir.
No,
because
I
here's the
agree.
thing: if I just take that at face value and say, you know what, man, you're right. It's too
Oh,
hard.
no, it's not right.
We're gonna
It's
be
not
having
right.
the same conversation 30, 40 years
Right,
from now.
it's not right, but being aware of what those issues
Oh,
are.
I'm very aware. I live
Right,
it.
I know because you lived it, and I respect that. But a lot of people aren't aware of it. You know it.
That's why we gotta have these.
I'm preaching to the choir here. You know it. You lived it. A lot of people don't understand that. They don't look at the realities of what you went through, and all these guys who are here this weekend went through.
Gold. I had silver, but it's got to
Yeah,
be
no, you
gold.
raised some fair points. I'm just
I
my
agree.
only thing is we just can't stop it.
No, that's
We
true.
gotta put the problems on the table and we gotta find a way through them.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
And I appreciate you, brother.
Could you write 4 gold on that?
I gotta put a name on it.
Yes, no, I know. After that, could you put it? Oh, Michael.
All right, guys. Come this way, champ. All right, guys, back up, please.
Bro, you got something
Come around.
We'll see you again, bro. Be here all week.